One of the most important things about playing TDS is that you're able to see what you're doing. However, I will be solo triumphing these game modes while slowly limiting my vision and information of the game. By the end of this video, you will have seen the craziest challenges ever attempted in rounds. This comment suggested I spend 1,000 coins per loss. However, we're raising the stakes. If I lose a single round of this challenge, I'll have to spend 10,000 coins per loss. If you're curious about how I managed to make this challenge possible, watch to the end. Starting off with the easiest one, easy mode. For my first challenge, I could only use starter towers. I cannot see how much cash I have, and the black filter over my screen would be at 90% opacity. I'd also have to beat it within 10 minutes. For this challenge, I decided to bring Hunter, Gold Soldier, Sniper, and Gold Scout. Luckily, I could still see well. However, not being able to see my cash amount quickly caused some problems. While playing in the round, I realized I would have to guess when to upgrade each tower. Although realizing it wasn't the biggest problem, I just decided to mash my upgrade keybind whenever I estimated I was close. Also, luckily with my TDS knowledge, I knew the cost of these upgrades. I used Gold Soldier to deal with the first rounds and decided to put my invisible allowance towards Hunter, which conveniently got a big buff recently, and with a time of 9 minutes and 40 seconds, easy mode was finished. That was just the beginning though. For the Molten round, I was not able to see my cash and loadout in a round. This meant I would have to memorize which number slot each of my towers were in once I was in the round. This time, the black filter over my screen was 93% opacity, still not terrible, but getting worse. And lastly, the most fun one yet. My loadout was chosen by spinning this wheel 5 times in order to get my loadout. With luck on my side, I spun that wheel 5 times and fate had chosen my loadout. It happened to be Ranger, Turret, Engineer, Trapper, and Warden. Honestly, this loadout was really good. However, I was lacking economy towers. I hopped in a round and decided to choose Wrecked Battlefield for this one. Everything was smooth sailing, although it was frustrating trying to upgrade these expensive towers with no discount or farm to help me. The most annoying thing I forgot about Wrecked Battlefield was that instead of breakers, there were mystery bosses, and these mystery bosses kept spawning in slow bosses, which took forever to kill. However, all went well getting to the Molten boss, and just like the puny Gravedigger, Molten boss gave the floor a bear hug. However, Patient Zero wasn't going down without a fight. Before we get to the next challenge, if you could please leave a like and subscribe, it would mean a lot. At 2,500 subs, we'll give $10 US of Robux to one person that enters the giveaway once we hit that goal. Anyways, these challenges felt pretty easy, so we're stepping on the gas. For intermediate mode, I was not allowed to see my cash, loadout, and the tower upgrade GUI. This meant I would have to hover my mouse over each tower to see what level they were, alongside memorizing each tower's upgrades. The black filter was now at 95% opacity, which started making my vision of things deplete, and if it couldn't get any worse, my Roblox game itself had a low opacity, at around 15%. This made things significantly harder. I was starting to struggle seeing the game in total, and to put the cherry on top of this challenge, I would have to complete it within 12 minutes. My fastest time with vision was below 12 minutes, so this was going to bring things to the next level. And from this point on, the recordings get extremely dark, so here's how it's going to work. The footage you're seeing is an edited, colorized version, which allows you to see what is actually happening, while the small screen in the bottom right corner will show you what I'm seeing. This time, I was starting to really struggle understanding what tower was at what level, where I should place, and my general strategy. Intermediate only came out a few months ago, and I've only played it a few times. The odds were all against me. However, I continued and I had a solid strategy going into this. But once I made it to wave 25, I checked my recording to see that I was running low on time. I was certain my coins were in jeopardy. I kept playing and did manage to beat the game mode, but I only completed it in 15 minutes and 4 seconds. This means that I had failed one round, which puts my debt at 10,000 coins. I was distraught, but I did a practice match to make sure I would get it perfect this time. I had to skip most rounds to get an almost perfect strategy locked in. In the practice match, I beat intermediate 7 seconds before the time hits 12 minutes. My memory would have to be at its best in order to remember this strategy. With no other option, I decided to take my second attempt. Things were going well. The bosses were being killed, the spam was being deleted. Things did start to get a bit nerve-wracking towards the end, but my army and I powered through. And finally, with a lot more time to spare than I thought, this challenge was defeated. But the hardest survival game mode of them all, Fallen, was up, and this challenge seemed nearly impossible. In order to clear this challenge, the black filter was at 98% opacity, my game was at 15 opacity, I could not see my cash amount, loadout, and tower upgrades, and yet again, the wheel came back to strike. I would have to choose my loadout from the wheel once again. I needed the perfect luck in order to get a winning loadout, and I'm pretty sure luck was on my side today, as my final loadout was Executioner, Electroshocker, Engineer, Warden, and Paintballer. You might be thinking to yourself, how is this lucky? You literally got Paintballer and Electroshocker, 2 towers that would barely help in the endgame. But my friends, you are underestimating the power of these other 3 towers. I hop into the first round, the first few waves are going amazing, but then I have to attend an event. I leave my house for a few hours, come back, and try my second attempt. Does that count as a loss though? I don't know, I'm too poor. Just wait for the final results. The most difficult part about the black filter is that I couldn't tell what level any of my towers were at all. I cannot lose track of which engineers are not a specific level. I would need to rely on my memory to understand what towers were at what level. One that was especially important was the engineers. There was no doubt that these were going to be my main source of damage, so I had to make sure I knew what levels they were. Luckily, being able to hover my mouse over the orange scrap bar of the engineer would show me when it changes in certain levels, which let me know what level each engineer was on as I kept playing. I was extremely worried for tank, but as wave 30 hit, all seemed fine. Even on the next tank, it was light work. I continued through the waves, destroying Warden, somehow destroying the 2 Necromancer bosses, and finally, my army with a blind commander was put to the test. Here come in the Fallen Guardians, and here is the very Fallen King himself. Okay, Rage ability unlocked. Let's hope that the Wardens I place along the path will do us great justice. And just as I thought Electroshocker was going to be pointless in this match, it might have just saved me, stalling the Fallen King on the final road as my engineers striked it down. And with that, I somehow beat this insane challenge in a first real attempt. This challenge was going to be the most difficult ever. I have never solo triumphed Pizza Party ever, so I had to come up with a strategy before an actual attempt. I tried using my perfect loadout from a previous video, and surely since I called it perfect, it was gonna work. In my defense, a fan showed me they beat it with it. Anyways, I decided to try a new loadout with Gladiator, but the same issues kept happening. I failed this practice attempt as well. I was able to get to wave 31 on my next one, but failed again. And then I failed again. And then again. I was so tired of failing, I just decided to ditch this loadout as well and go with another one. And that was the magic I was looking for. For once, I made it past the wave 31 safely, and each wave after was nerve-wracking but survivable. And when it came to Walks the Fox, I was able to destroy this game mode within 21 minutes. But I was supposed to do this all nearly blind. There was almost no shot I could do it. This map is also the darkest map I've played on throughout this challenge. That did not stop me, however. I hopped into a round and locked in. The first scouts were easy to defeat. The first shotgunner, by miracle, was easy to defeat. I started to get nervous as I lost health to something I couldn't even see. I was still alive, but the difficult waves started pouring in. Commander was the bane of my existence in my practice attempts, but not this one. And like always, Necromancer boss was a big threat, especially with the super high health shotgunners, having over double their health at this point. It got so far into the path I thought it was over, but my army did not waver, and we made it to the final wave. Not actually dealing a ton of damage, but I think we're fine for the most part. Yeah, we're starting to deal some damage there. Just want to bring another NG over. That is a dub. There we are. Finally. Oh my gosh, this took way too long. I actually finished the challenge, only losing once. Well, just like that, I was able to defeat all these blind challenges along with some other debuffs with just one loss. However, I did have to leave in my first Fallen attempt, and this wouldn't be a TVN video without some fun, so I decided to double the debt I was in. I decided I have to spend 20,000 coins instead of 10,000. Luckily, through all the attempts I had done, I already accumulated 12,000 coins, but grinding another 8,000 coins took over 2 hours of Fallen matches. But as promised, I reached the goal and spent it on 26 mid-grade consumable crates and 1 basic crate. And with many crates open later, as well as 3 nukes and tons of rare consumables, this entire challenge is over. However, they will come back to bite, but in ways even more difficult than before. Shout out to our channel members, Paper, IPichu, Omerft, and FNT. We appreciate you a lot. Please leave a like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.